Okay, so when I shot the photo of all of Bella's puppies all in a row, obviously that's a complete edit. Well, not obviously, a lot of people don't know that. But I knew what I wanted my final photo to be. So what I did was I basically went in and shot every single pup, as you can see here, on the white background. I then went in and selected through Photo Raw, and edited out each particular puppy in the pose that I wanted them to be in. And after that was done, let's see here, let me find this. I went ahead and I pulled each puppy out of their white background, which I already showed you before, in their Crocs. And so this is basically what it looked like. If I go to any particular one over here on the side, I can, sorry, got to get the right tool. I can move them around. I can do whatever I want to do. And this is basically what I did. Was I went to each individual white background pup, pulled them out of it, and then put them into a transparent background. So let me go through that just real quick. We're going to open up, let's just do, we'll just pick one here. This is Boss. We'll pick him. We're going to open him up. This is Camera Raw. This is where you can make all your adjustments. I'm going to select Open Image, and it's going to do it into Photoshop for me. From there, I'm going to use my tools to extract him from the background. This is probably not the easiest one just because he's white, so he takes a little bit more time to pull out. But anyway, so we'll just do this real fast. Okay, so I basically have him pulled, his little border around him, and this is just going to be a fast edit, so this wouldn't be like the final thing that I would do. I would take a little more time at this, but anyway, I'm going to select him and all of that, go up to Edit, Copy, go to File and New. Whatever it selects is fine. I already have my defaults set to transparent so that the background is always transparent. Click OK, and then just go up to Edit and click Paste, and it's going to pull him, or whatever I selected, into that. So there I have him. I might refine the edges a little bit. Once he's out of there, unless I want to do something with that photo, I can just get rid of it. I don't typically save those or whatever. From there, what I did, and I did this with each single pup, but knowing what I wanted my final outcome to be, I had selected a blank background. The image size is 20 by 8 by 300. It does take up a lot of memory, but I knew I wanted it sort of long and skinny so that I could put each pup into it, add some shadows, and then flatten it so it looked like they were all together. So anyway, so I had a blank canvas, which basically looked like that, and then as I edited each pup, I just took them and pulled them and did a little drag and drop and dropped them into it, and then resized accordingly. So, and this is what you would do with Vegas and Orion, and you know, to make it look like they were together. So there, I just edited him out of his background, dropped him into this background, resized him so that he looks proportional, and I did that with each and every single dog. So, but because this is already done, I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer because I don't need it. I already have this photo of him, so I'm just going to go ahead and delete it since I don't need it. So then anyway, so what I'm left with here is what my basic final image is going to be, are all of the pups together. Now what I would do is I would go ahead and I would use my blur tool. You're going to have to do it with each and every pup. Go around, you know, each and every one, blur the edges because the real crisp lines make them look unblended. It doesn't make it look realistic, and so on. Resize all of them accordingly. Obviously anything that's going to be closer to the front is going to be a little bit larger. Anything that's behind that thing is going to be a little bit smaller. So now that I have all the pups kind of lined up, pulled out of their backgrounds and in where I want them to be, then I'm ready to go on with the rest of my edits. So then I will go ahead and I will merge merge visible is what I basically do. I might take my blur tool and go around the entire outside, just to make sure that as a unit they are all blurred together. At that point I can go ahead and select my paint bucket tool, which is here. I've already got white selected, so I can go ahead and paint. Actually, here, edit, undo paint bucket. Let's do another layer. We're going to do a separate layer, and I'm going to go ahead and do the paint bucket. Now I'm going to move that layer. I'm going to tell it to go to the back, and then what that does is it makes my babies look like they're on the plain white background. Okay, so from here what you need to do is you've got two separate layers here, and you can adjust them accordingly. I knew that I wanted mine sort of down at the bottom so it looked like they were sitting in the bottom of the photo, but now I need to add some shadows and stuff to make sure they look real, so I'm going to use this tool here. This is my burn tool. It's going to be on highlights, and then you just need to, because this is a large photo, you're going to have to adjust your tools accordingly. I was using some snowflakes, so let me get out of this. I need my basic brushes. Where are they? These are all the brushes that I have. So friends, if you ever get to learn brushes, these are amazing. Here, let me just show you this real fast. This has nothing to do with what I'm showing you, but let me find where are my eyelash brushes? Oh, right here, eyelash. Click OK. I'm going to click black. This has nothing to do with what I'm showing you, but people always ask me, oh, how did you get such big eyelashes on, Bella? Well, anyways, here's how I do it. Go in here and, oh, here, let's do this. And we're going to select the paint tool. We've got our eyelashes, so let's see which eyelash. Let's do, oh shoot, just for editing purpose here we're going to use this one. That's way too big, so we're going to adjust our brush size down. That's too small. Let's do this. Okay, so we're going to give him some eyelashes. And that layer, that opacity, is at 100%. It's black. I need to move it because it's layer number 2. It's near the white background. I need to move it to the front, so I can either drag and drop, which then you can see it shows up there, or I can I could have just deleted it and readjusted and added a new layer. There's a lot of different things you can do. So obviously his eyelashes are too big, so because this layer is selected, we're going to go up here and go to transform. We're going to scale. We're going to make his eyelashes as big as whatever we want them to be. There we go. Apply. Sometimes when it gets too small, it's really hard to select and edit. So you have to figure your own way around how to make these work proportionally. Okay, so there's that. So he's got some eyelashes. Obviously they don't look real, so we're going to erase away some of them, blah blah blah. This is just a super quick edit, and then we're going to go back up to transform. We're going to go to rotate. We're going to do this, and okay, so now he has this little eyelash on here. And then, as you know your tools, you would go back through some blending options and whatever. Anyway, that has nothing to do with anything, so I'm just going to delete that layer. Okay, so I have the puppy sitting on a white background. Obviously, they need some shadows so that it looks like they're actually there. So I'm going to click on my white background. I'm going to go to my burn tool. It's got highlights selected. I need to adjust my this is what started this whole mess. I'm going to adjust my tool back to basic brushes, and so that I have these nice big fat fluffy round brushes. And then because it's a really big photo, I'm going to use 100 or 300, probably 100, and you can adjust this up. You can actually make yourself your own size, maybe 200. So then what I want to do is I want to make some shadows so that it looks like they're actually sitting on this white background. So I just kind of go through, and with the white background selected, I just add in some shadows. You don't want to do this on the puppies themselves, because if you did this on the puppies, your shadows are going to be on them and not on the background where they're actually sitting. So then what I would go ahead and do is I would just go through each one, and I would adjust the size of my tool accordingly so that the shadows looked realistic. This right here doesn't look realistic at all. It looks like they're sort of floating, but anyway, that's sort of what you would basically do if you had Vegas and Orion sitting on a white background, as you would adjust the shadows accordingly. Once that's all done, I would go ahead and I would merge visible, which merges them all together. At that point, what I did with the birthday photos, and what you can do is go into any of your clip art that you might have. In my case, I have all these PNG files saved. A lot of them, you'll notice in my things, are saved as redone. It's because I lost everything to begin with, and so I've had to go back and try and recreate this. But anyway, all these files that you're seeing right here are all transparent backgrounds, or for the most part, if they're not transparent, they're easy to make them transparent. So I've pulled them somewhere off of the internet and saved them. So anyway, we're going to use this Santa hat. We'll open it. I'm going to do a drag and drop, and I can just place it wherever I want to place it. I'm going to resize it accordingly to look like it actually fits. In Lucy's case, because we want to make it look like it's actually sitting on her head, I think it's okay for this ear to stick out. And I don't know, I think it looks realistic, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my background layer. Again, I'm going to use my burn tool. I'm going to readjust my tool size, and with this background layer selected, I'm going to go ahead and add a shadow underneath of this hat so that it makes it look like she was actually wearing it. Probably before I do that, I probably should have gone ahead and not that, go to the eraser and just erase this little kind of harsh line that's on the hat. Once that's done, then go back to your other layer. Go ahead and put your shadow in there so that it looks like she's actually wearing it. Use your blur tool on the hat itself. Just sort of blur that kind of crispy line that you don't want in there. And here where you can see where I originally cut it out, there's a line right here. We don't want that, so let's go ahead and get rid of that line. Oh, that's probably in the original photo. Yeah, it is. Okay, never mind. Ignore that. But if you see something like that in the future, then what you can do is go ahead and you can use that little Band-Aid looking tool, and it'll pull a lot of that out if you missed something. So anyway, Lucy's got her hat on. Again, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to merge visible. Supposedly they've got perfect shadows and whatnot. Then what I would do is I'd go up to my filter. I'd probably go down to my topaz or whatever it is I'm going to use. I would just use some of the basic tools that I kind of go through, do one maybe last little final edit on them to get it to where I want it to be. That's not where I want it to be, but we'll just go with it for video purposes. Let it do its thing, and then I would have my shot. Now there's this thing in the background here, so again you can use this thing that looks like a Band-Aid, and you can just kind of trace over it. And what it's going to do is it should, not always, it should merge and get rid of that thing so that whatever it is, it blends in with the background. That's good for like pimples and those types of things. So anyway, this definitely is not what I would use, but for pulling one dog out of another photo and putting them all together, this is basically what you would do. I hope that helps.